Welcome, Dr. Doug Kelley here, and we're in the video 3 of 4 videos on the Life Leadership Paragon, which is a powerful model for realizing your full potential. We've already talked about self-acceptance as the first aspect of it, and we talked about self-responsibility in the last video. And so in this video, we want to talk about respect for free will. And just as a reminder, the Life Leadership Paragon is simply a model for excellence, and it's a powerful model, and it includes 3 attributes or traits that create a 4th one. Those 3 attributes are self-acceptance, self-responsibility, respect for free will. These 3 then synergistically combine to create self-completeness, which is the same as self-actualization, and we'll talk about that in the next video. So let's talk about this 3rd aspect, respect for free will. And again, pretty straightforward, right? Respect for free will. What does that mean? It means that you respect other people and you respect their choices, their rights, their right to be themselves. You respect the path that they're on as their path and not your path. It's pretty much that. But a big part of respect for free will is what I call the law of control. The law of control simply says you can't change people, you can't control people, stop trying. How many of us like it when other people try to control us, or change us for that matter? Honey, do you really think you should eat that second piece of cake? You know, that is a blatant attempt to control somebody or change somebody. And I'll tell you this, folks, this is powerful. If the world would just stop trying to change and control other people, wow, we'd have a dramatic improvement in relationships. Think about your own personal relationships, maybe your spouse, your partnership, your marriage, whatever. Stop trying to control them. Don't tell them what to do. Don't try to change them. And that is such a huge problem in relationships. It's probably the biggest relationship killer, is that one or both are trying to change or control the other person. Stop doing that, because it's not your right to change or control them. Folks, it's not our right. We have our own path, each of us, and we have a right to walk that path without judgment. Doesn't mean you're not going to get judged, but it's our right to walk our path without judgment, provided we do no harm and we're trying to do right, correct? So do this in your relationships, especially your close relationships or any relationships really. Stop trying to change or control the other person. Don't tell them what to do. Don't tell them what you think they should do. Don't worry about how they're spending their life, their day, whatever. Stop trying to change them and stop trying to control them. Now, if you do this and the relationship's no longer working, well, it is what it is. You know, we accept people for who they are, not for what they believe. We accept people for who they are. Now, if you can't accept somebody for who they are, then you're simply not in a relationship with them. It's that simple. Stop trying to change and control people. Now, how about another aspect of this? Are you a parent with adult children? Hear me. Stop trying to control your adult children. Stop giving unsolicited advice. Now, this applies whether you have adult children or not. Stop giving unsolicited advice. That's probably the biggest way we try to change and control other people. But parents with adult children, this is killing your relationships. You're giving unsolicited advice. Stop doing that. You had your chance raising them. They are now adults. They have the right to stumble, to fall down, skin their knees, get up, brush themselves off, and continue going, just like we did at that age. So if you have adult children, don't give unsolicited advice. Stop trying to control them. Stop trying to change them. It's their life now. You've done your job. You have to let it be in their hands, just like it's in your hands to be who you are. So focus on who you are and becoming more better in life skills yourself, rather than trying to make them do what you think they ought to be doing, because it's not up to you anymore. They're adults, you know, and it will offer a lot more peace in your relationships. So in this area of respect for free will, we have to observe the law of control. You can't change people. You can't control people. Stop trying. The biggest way we try to change or control people is by giving unsolicited advice. Stop doing that. If you will do that, these relatively simple things in concept anyway, just stop doing that. Your relationships are going to improve big time. Now remember that the entire goal of the Life Leadership Paragon is to bring each of these aspects into a healthy balance by respecting other people's rights to be who they are and not try to control or change them. We are now assuming personal responsibility for ourselves, like we talked about in the last video, and we're not trying to assume responsibility for other adults. That's the thing. If we try to control people, we're trying to assume responsibility for another adult. That's not our right. Let it go. Release the need to control and change other people. Now, one thing I didn't really introduce here is the aspect of children, minors. Now, to the best of your ability, try to implement this. If you have little children or toddlers or teenagers or whatever, you want to guide them as they grow up. You want to teach them these healthy concepts. So don't be overly controlling or try to change them too much. Let them grow and evolve. Give them some parameters as we need to do, but don't be over controlling with them. Let them evolve into who they're going to be, and be reasonable and fair with your constraints or with your objectives to change or control them. Be reasonable and help them to grow into the wonderful adults that they can be. All right, so we've talked in the last 3 videos, we've talked about self-acceptance, we've talked about self-responsibility, we've talked about respect for free will. The last one is that these 3 create this 4th one of self-completeness, and that's what we're going to talk about in the next video. So until then, listen, think, learn, grow, and live. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.